Hi tribe, welcome to Twin Oracles. We hope you're having a wonderful day. And we have a tarot reading for you, an oracle reading for you. Take a moment. These are all the decks we may or may not be using. And this one I would like to put a beautiful mention. It is called the Pink Dream Clarity deck. And it is from Witch Way Witchery on Etsy. It's a cute little beautiful deck, and it's for clarifications. Really cute.
We just got this deck.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the back of them, that's the front of them, and you can see right there the name
Witch
of it.
Way Witchery.
Okay, so we may or may not be using all of these decks, some of these decks, or a couple of decks. So, hope everyone's doing well. We're going to start with the Affirmations card. And see what comes out. And this is from Lorraine Anderson, I believe. Affirmations from Lorraine Anderson. Okay. Yes. The card that came out is number 29. It says soften. It's better to be a soft wind no one saw coming than a tornado that destroys everything in its path. The card right there. And so, this is, I'm hearing the word judgment come up quite profoundly. And so you're being asked to soften up the way you speak to yourself, the way you speak to others, the judgment that you might cast upon yourself and others. Some of you also, it feels like a lot of you out there tend to judge yourselves quite a bit. And there might be some blockages in your life and you're saying to yourself, what am I doing wrong? Why is this here? One of the things that's coming up is that your thoughts and your words are blocking. And then number 21, value. Take stock of the beauty in your life. There is already so much around you to be grateful for. Number 21, value. So, there's a lot that's coming up. Again, I'm going to bring it back to, there may be some of you that are feeling stuck, stagnant, blocked, dry, unable to see clearly. You might have this ability to be able to feel your way through life, to follow your gut instincts, and during this time you might not be able to tap into any of that. You might not be able to feel your way through it this time. You might not be able to follow your gut instinct because you're really not sure what your gut is telling you or what your instincts are telling you. And there's a lot of cloudiness, uncertainty. It feels like you're in a dark, gloomy, cloudy space, almost like a void. You're in this dark void, it feels like. You don't have any sense of direction. And you can't feel what's to come. And it's like you're trying to claw yourself out of this hole.
So what I'm picking up here is when we judge ourselves, we devalue ourselves. So I would like to repeat that and take a deep breath before I do. Release all judgment. As I repeat this again, is what I heard. When we judge ourselves, we devalue ourselves. So what happens is, when you devalue yourself because you're judging yourself, you're not able to see the beauty within you. It's harder to see the gifts that one might have what we're good at, what we excel in, what we bring to this world. Because when we judge ourselves, we devalue ourselves. And so a lot of times we tend to beat ourselves up as well, is another thing that I'm hearing. And so when we're beating ourselves up, it just sends you into this downward spiral. And now that you've heard this, and now that you know this, I would like you to really take stock of what was just said. Because it's one thing, oh, I know that, oh, I know. But it's another thing to really take a breath and sit with that for a moment and be like, wow, how often do you beat yourself up? How often do you judge yourself? Some of us go through our day, our busy, mundane day to day to day to day to day, that we're not even realizing that we are doing this. And so that's why it's important to take these breaths throughout the day, so you can be aware of this, so you can hear that voice, the ego mind, when it is judging yourself. And in knowing this, that's when you can do something about it. But first you have to hear that little voice, or that loud voice. The loud voice, usually it's quite loud, when it's judging you, or when you're judging yourself, or when you're even judging others.
And how often does this happen in a day, in a week, in a month, in an hour, in a minute, in a moment? Every moment, every few moments? How often is this happening? What are the thoughts that are playing over and over again in your mind that are taking away from what you truly deserve?
And so now that you know, now that you hear these messages, it's an opportunity for you to sit, breathe, listen, and bring awareness to what you're hearing in your mind.
So we're going to take a moment to shuffle the Oracle cards. Or sorry, the tarot deck. Big tarot deck.
This is from Tarot Cards Dark Forest on Etsy.
Woo.
So it really ties into what we were just saying, where when you're judging yourself, you're devaluing yourself, you're really ripping yourself apart. And it could be based from childhood. It could have originated from there. Absolutely it could have. And it's just been a pestilent energy that you have carried ever since. And maybe perhaps because you never brought awareness to it, right? And that's what we're asking you to do now, is to breathe. And what are you hearing about yourself right now in your mind? What is the ego mind telling you? And so when you devalue yourself, you are losing confidence in who you are. You aren't seeing, as I mentioned earlier, you're not seeing your gifts. You're not seeing the beautiful blessings that you have to offer this world. You're perhaps not seeing what your role is to do in this world. You're perhaps not even seeing the blessings within your life already. And that's why we had mentioned to take stock of an inventory of the beauty in your life, starting with you. So it's to really go within and find out, when did this first occur? Who told you that you were anything less than the divinity that you are? Who told you this as a child? Where did this happen? Did it happen at home? Did it happen at school? Questions to ask yourself. But there's definitely something coming up here about quite strongly not loving yourself and not having confidence. Not having confidence. And so we have the Queen of Wands in reverse here. We also have this Eight of Swords. And, you know, my sister had mentioned that, you know, some of you perhaps feel that you're in like a dark hole. There's this darkness that you can't seem to get yourself out of. And you do feel trapped in here. You do. It comes from the mind. This reading is very profound. You know, if you have the time to do so, I do suggest listening to it a second time, because this information that is being presented here is very valuable. There's much value. And so listen to it a second time if you can. But you're keeping yourself trapped with your own mind, with the ego mind that devalues you over and over and over again. And you know, it's something that we all do as humans, right? But now that you're hearing this message, you're not here by accident. This is synchronistic. This is you being here for a reason, hearing this message, because it is time to change that. How bad do you want change? So I invite you to take 5 minutes out of your day, even 20 minutes, have a piece of paper in front of you with a pen or a pencil, and just sit in silence and hear the thoughts that go through your mind, and write them down. And even throughout the day, focus on being aware of what you're hearing in your mind. And throughout the day, go back to that sheet of paper, whatever else you heard. When you were at work, you heard that your mind told you this, or your mind told you that. When you were driving to work, from work, home, from the grocery store, going for a walk, you heard your mind say this, you heard your mind say that, and add it to that list. Study your mind. Know thyself. Study your mind, because it's really keeping you trapped here. And so we also have here the Two of Cups in reverse, which carries forth with this energy of not valuing yourself, not loving yourself. And again, I want to say that this video, listen to it again, because it will shift something inside of you. It will. It will bring you to that loving space and loving place of peace and understanding. Now that you understand this, there is something you can do about it. You aren't chained up here. You're not bound. You're free to free yourself. Again, breathe and release. And understand what I just said. You are free to free yourself at any given point in time. And the time is now. The time is now. So there's this energy of an old version of you, but there's this energy of, there's this crack within the mind where now that you know this, it's cracked open. You can do something about it. And through that crack is shining this beautiful light from God. This beautiful light of the divine, of the Most High, saying, here I am, can you see me now? I want to help you through this. I want you to break those chains and free yourself for once and for all from those shackles that bind you, from the mind that keeps telling you you're anything less than divinity. Because God wants to be seen here and God wants to be heard. We have the Two of Cups in reverse and we have the Ace of Cups in the upright. And so I wish I would have mentioned this earlier at the very beginning when I was talking about some of you may feel like you're in a dark place, in a void. You're not able to follow your gut instincts. There's like no sense of direction. You may feel like, for some of you it's money, for some of you it's love. You can't feel what's to come, like you normally have this ability to feel your way through things, but right now you can't feel any of it. And so with this, I want to say, I'm hearing it's the darkest before the dawn. It's the darkest before the dawn. And so you are coming into a time of abundance in your life. And, that's confirmed here with this Ace of Cups. You are coming into a time of abundance in your life, separating yourself from this space or this place that you are finding yourself in. But you are being asked to
allow change. Allow changes to take place in your life. And so it's giving yourself permission and allowing yourself, for example, to let go of judgment, let go of doubt, release the fear, give up those addictions. It's time. You're being asked to make space for what's to come in here for you now.
And for some of you, I'm picking up, for a select few of you, I'm definitely picking up here that you're you're in a relationship right now, and not that it began here, not that this lack of self-confidence began in the relationship, because it happened within childhood. But some of you are in a relationship right now where it's just not working. This relationship that you're in right now is part of the reason why you're still stuck in lack of confidence. This relationship, some of you, it's
Hard to
I'm
swallow.
feeling, I'm feeling something in my throat chakra. Some of you have lost your voice since you've been in this relationship. You've lost your confidence. You've lost your freedom. Okay, your freedom within this relationship. It could be, a relationship as in a partnership. It can also be a relationship at work. But there's something here, I'm picking up more with love, where you've completely lost your freedom. You've lost your freedom of speech. You've lost your words. You don't know what to say anymore. It feels like anytime you spoke, that other person would, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like they would belittle you and put you down with the words that you would say. And not just with the word, with everything that you said and did, this person will put you down. And so you've lost completely all your self-confidence and your self-esteem. And not only that, it's come to the point you've been in this space for a very long time where you have felt bound and you have felt chained to the situation where you feel you cannot leave. Like you wouldn't even know what to do, how to do it. Like you just feel so stuck, so stuck in this relationship. And I want to rewind to what I said earlier when I said, take that breath and know that you are free to free yourself. I'm picking this up very strong, and I said it earlier, to free yourself, and now it's coming out again. And I want you to know that you are free, and ask for help. Ask God to help you, to show the way, to light the path in front of you, how to do it, what to do. Ask friends for help. Ask your angels, your spirit guides for help. But there is help. But if you don't ask for help, you can't receive. And it's to try to stay out of the mind as much as possible, because a lot of the times God is giving us answers, but we're in our minds and we can't hear or see the messages. Sometimes the messages come in our minds. Sometimes God puts people or situations in front of you. For example, this video to do something about this and what to do. But when we're too stuck in our minds, it's like I was mentioning earlier, when you're beating yourself up and judging yourself, you can't see the blessings, you can't see the gifts that you have and the beauty that you shine in this world. So it's definitely to try to stay out of the mind as much as possible, so you can see the good, so you can hear God's messages, so you hear the messages that give you information as to what is the best way to do this.
And so this message might be a hard pill to swallow. And the reason being, I had a visualization where a few of you out there listening to this message, and you either start coughing, or you feel your throat chakra closing in, or you're wanting to cough but you're holding back. I saw a few of you out there that this happened to. And the reason why this might be a hard pill to swallow is because now you're being asked to allow for some sort of change. And change can be scary, right? Because, what's my life going to be like now? Now that, perhaps I'm alone, or perhaps it's just me, or, and this relationship could be with someone else, but it could also be with yourself. It could also be, turning that self-hate into self-love. So take that how it resonates.
And I'm also picking up one last thing, that for some of you, you are partnered up with someone. And just because you're partnered up with someone, it's like, oh, I'm with someone, I'm not alone. But if you are really honest with yourself and you take a few minutes or, however time you have to sit there and reflect upon the beginning of this relationship and who you were before the relationship, looking back, you'll realize that even though you were partnered up, the truth is you've never actually felt like you were part of the relationship. You've always felt alone from the very beginning, is what I want to say.
In fact,
and that's the truth. You felt alone since the very beginning. So when you say, well, who am I now? Now I'm going to be alone. And I don't want to be alone. And I'm not good on my own or by myself. But looking back, you have been lonely the entire time from the beginning of the relationship till now. And this isn't for everyone. But it's to just be raw with yourself and be real with yourself and just reflect. Take that time out to reflect your life, your relationship. And then when you have clarity there, then when you're healing that aspect, you can also connect it to your childhood and see where this actually all began from, where it stemmed from. So now we're going to get a couple cards from the Love Oracle cards from Island Time Wellness.
Okay, too many. I'm hearing some of you should perhaps even take a couple minutes, sit in silence, and allow these messages to come up.
Okay, there we go. This is
allowing the messages to come up and jot them down so that you can be aware. You know what I just heard? I just heard, some of you have, okay, this is what I heard. Some of you have many inventions out there. You're very creative. It's like you've always had this special gift where you can invent this or invent that, or you're some sort of innovative thinker. But your mind has always stopped you, blocked you, held you back by saying, well, I don't know anything about that, so how can I build that? And, what about if it's not perfect? Or, what about if it's missing something? And, who am I to invent this when I know nothing of it? And so these thoughts from your mind have really, really held you back in life. So for this reason, I'm hearing, take a couple moments in your day. If it's the first thing in the morning, last thing at night, and just sit in a quiet space, bring a pen and paper, and write down on paper what you hear. Creating space for these messages to come through, to expose and shine your light on this situation. And you will find that either immediately or over time, none of these messages are going to want to come forth. These messages of judgment, these messages of self-sabotage, these messages of putting yourself down, they're not going to want to come forward because they're going to want to hide. They're not going to want you to expose the truth of these messages. So they're going to kind of, pretend that they're not there. So when you sit down and say, okay, I'm going to give 5 minutes, I'm going to dedicate and devote 5 minutes to these messages, allowing these messages to come through, you'll see that it'll be quite difficult for these messages to come through. And if they do come through, that's great. Jot them down immediately. And some of you might want to take time to do this a few times throughout the day as well. You might not have time first thing in the morning, but, you might be at work and you hear a message, jot it down, write it on your phone.
Now, I do want to clarify, there will be 2 different kinds of voices that you will be hearing, okay? So what I mean by that is you have your ego mind, and then you have spirit, or God, or source, the Most High. And you'll be able to tell the difference between the 2. One comes from the mind, so it's going to be louder. It's going to be that nagging voice, oh, you can't do this, and it's not going to be perfect, everything that my twin had just mentioned. The other voice is going to be coming from your heart. And it's going to be a much softer voice and a lower voice, almost like a whisper. And so for a lot of you, for some of you, you haven't even asked for help from God or the Most High. But for some of you, you have asked for help and you say, well, I did that and I tried that and I never got answers. Well, that's why I say it's important to be aware of what you're hearing. Because the answers that you want to pay attention to and listen to, you want to pay attention to both of them, because even by listening to the mind, it's going to teach you as to what to alter, how to change, how to stop that judging voice, for example. But just as importantly and just as equally, you want to hear those whispers that come from your heart, that is your guiding light, those whispers that tell you what to do, where to go, how to do it. But it's like I said, it's like a lighter whisper, it's a softer voice, it's harder to hear. You have to really pay attention to it and be aware and clear your mind. Now, it's very interesting, at the bottom of the deck here, we have cassette, right? So it's exactly what we're talking about here. It's interesting. It's very interesting. Something's definitely, it had happened from childhood, and all these years have passed, and you haven't been aware that you haven't grown with the times or evolved or healed this. And it's okay. There's, if you're listening to it, this is the right time to be healing from it and growing and evolving. But cassette here says, it speaks to having belief systems within the mind, or even, constantly having that old story repeat over and over and over in your head, from even a story from when you were a child, perhaps, and it's still there.
And it could also be the voice of someone else.
Yes.
Who would say the same thing. Oh, who do you think you are, Rockefeller?
Someone else that was putting you down. And that brings us to, for a select few of you that are in a relationship where you feel it's like an narcissistic empath relationship, you're in this relationship because it's showing you, it's a mirror to show you what needs to be healed inside of you and what needs to be healed from when you were a child, because you're in this relationship because you've carried it on and on and on from when you were a child. And so you're being asked to heal this narcissistic empath relationship, and there's a lot of videos you can watch on YouTube pertaining to that. But that's why it's in front of you, this relationship, because it's a good idea to change, to update your way of thinking, your way of believing, your way of understanding who you truly really are, and try to refrain from replaying those events over and over and over in your head. So that was at the bottom of the deck. The card that fell out is something that I was mentioning before we even pulled any of these cards, and it is separation. Okay, so it's beautiful. Like, all these cards are all
really
coming together, enhancing and clarifying, validating what we're saying here. So separation.
And what you could already be feeling for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And if you found this video now, it's because now's the time. Now's the time that you're going to have those nudges, those voices of inspiration. You can do this. Okay, now go do this. You're going to have an idea. It's going to come in front of you. I can leave. I can free myself. I am free to free myself. I know what I can do. And be open to those messages. So it does feel like there is some, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to say, and so some of you are probably saying, heck no, I can't leave. Like, no, I can't do this. Then just know that perhaps a seed was planted today.
Yeah.
Right? So,
it's not going to be for everyone that you have to leave right away, right now.
Place this where it resonates for you and how it pertains to you in your life.
For some of you might be pumped by this and be like, yeah, I'm free to free myself. I'm free to free myself. I know what I can do. And you're going to be pumped and you're going to do it. For others of you, it's not the right time. It's not the right time, and that's okay. It's all okay. It's whenever you have that courage. That's why this Queen of Wands is in reverse here. It's whenever you have that courage, that strength, that willpower, that determination, that confidence to say, yes, it's time. And whenever that time is for you, so be it, and so honor it.
And so the card that I got is called Karmic Relationships.
So You can
Again, very appropriate. Karmic relationships. So this relationship, it's not to beat yourself up and be like, how could I have, put myself through this or whatnot. This was part of your purpose. This was part of your path. This was part of your journey. This is what you chose for yourself before incarnating here. And so this is a karmic relationship. The triggers that are in front of you, the resentment, the turmoil, they're all lessons. They're all lessons that were to help elevate you to higher highs. They were opportunities. They were blessings to learn and evolve. And so you're being asked to allow the change, okay? To let go of this, to let go of, maybe you're beating yourself up so badly that you might be telling yourself such horrible, horrible things. And it's to allow the pieces to fall where they may, and to accept all of it, to accept everything that happened as lessons and experiences, and not only accept them, but love them. Don't resist. Don't put up a fight. You're being asked to really embrace and love these experiences and look at the positive of it. What did this person teach me? Did this person teach you what you are looking for in a relationship? Because perhaps you've experienced what you don't want in a relationship.
And also I want to touch. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. So the question is to use your discernment on what it is you're being asked to let go of. Anything that does not make you feel good, anything that you're saying about yourself or about this individual that is not loving or positive, you're being asked to let that go and to dig a little deeper and to ask yourself, what's my lesson? What did I learn? Grab a piece of paper, grab that pen, and write down on a list, what did I learn? I learned that by being with this person, I gave my power up and I did not speak my truth. I stopped communicating, and it felt pretty crappy to give up my power and to not be me. I learned that this relationship took away my confidence. So now I'm going to look for a relationship that brings me confidence. These are just examples.
I learned that since I got into this relationship, I completely lost myself and who I am.
And so I'm going to look for a relationship that enhances me.
But never go to it from one relationship to another. Always make sure, this is very important, that you allow for a period of time, a space, an incubation period for you to heal those childhood wounds. Then move to this relationship that ended and heal whatever needs to be healed in that relationship also. And give yourself that time, whatever the time period is. It can be 6 months, it can be 2 years of being with you and rebuilding yourself. This is extremely important, right? Because if you just came out of a relationship, if you're going through this process of separation at some given point in time, there's healing to be done. There's healing to be done from childhood. There's also healing to be done from what just happened over these years with this person.
So allow time to process.
Definitely. And then even when you think you've processed everything that had to be processed and healed, number one, keep in mind, healing comes up in layers. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. And number two, even when you think you're ready and you've done the healing, give yourself another 6 months of, being single on top of that, just to get to know you. Dig deeper. Be more intimate is the word with yourself.
And so the last card of the deck, Cupid's arrow. Beautiful. And so, this is God blessing you. This is God wanting to pour his blessings upon you. And a lot of you are being asked to trust and have faith, to have blind faith, that all things will work out, whether you can feel it or not, whether you can feel that, follow your gut or not, when you can, if you can feel what's to come or not. It doesn't matter. What you're being asked to have is blind faith. Know like you know that no matter what, all things are working out for you. They're all working out in your favor behind the scenes. And it does look like that there are blessings that are wanting to come your way, that you're coming into a time of abundance. And for some of you, I'm also hearing, if you've been waiting, looking, searching for love, love is around the corner. Love is coming for you. You will be surprised on how this happens, how the relationship or how this meeting comes about.
Right. This is for those of you that, have been single for a while and you're not in this relationship and this isn't resonating. It's to build that confidence back up with yourself. Okay, so it's a very profound message. Elevate yourself. And you'll notice that what my twin is saying, that this will happen out of the blue, this meeting with someone. So
and if there's any hesitation, okay, so I'm hearing if someone says to you, come on, let's go grab a coffee, or let's go downtown, or, you know, let's go check out that library, and you're like, I hate downtown, I don't want to go to the library, that's boring, or I don't want to go to the museum, or forget the park. Like, if there's any hesitation in you and someone's inviting you and telling you and asking you to go somewhere, do something, someone messages you, they call you up, take that hesitation as a sign to go do it. The hesitation is going to come from your mind, and your heart is asking you to just do it. That's crazy. Do it anyways.
And God's putting in front of you that person to get you out, to line up the synchronicities of where you need to be.
And so if you hear like, that's crazy, why would I want to go to the library? Why would I want to go to the museum? If you're hearing anything like that's crazy, do it anyway. Do it anyway. Someone's going to be guiding you or moving you or directing you towards this synchronistic meeting up. But you might miss this opportunity. Okay. Now we're going to shuffle this deck here from the Which Way Witchery.
The Pink Dream Clarity deck from Etsy.
And some of you might have a question in mind.
Yes. First, we would like you to think of a question.
You might, if you need to pause this video to take a moment to think about your question. It could be something that you've already had on your mind, or the question might have just popped into your mind right here, right now. But I really want you to take a moment to take a deep breath in. Think of a question that's maybe been weighing heavy on you or on your mind, or you're wanting some clarity on, some sort of direction. And we will allow the cards to answer the question. No, I'm hearing this. Some of you might like to blow bubbles, like bubble gum, or you might be out with your kids blowing bubbles from soap.
Or some of you have this thing where you can blow a bubble in your mouth. Like in your mouth, you can create a bubble from your saliva and then like pop it on your own whenever you feel like popping it. That's not for all of you, but that's definitely coming up. There's someone here.
Does that want to come out? I don't think so. Oh. Okay. So we got for sure. For sure.
Oh.
And so it's to have for sure faith. You know, earlier I'd mentioned, you know, to have blind faith, to trust. And, you know, this kind of correlates with that theme as well, for sure. Of course, for sure. Why not you? Whatever your question is, whatever you wanted some guidance or an answer for, we got for sure.
And the other card that fell out here is Roger. So some of you, your name is Roger. For some of you, you're watching a movie with the name Roger in it. For some of you, you're in a relationship with someone named Roger. But this can also mean, like, you know, that expression that says Roger that. So it's also another affirmation. So for those of you that had a question, the answer is yes. It's Roger that. So for sure and Roger, the answer is yes.
Okay.
So we love you. We thank our old viewers for watching. We thank you new viewers for watching. You're all welcome here.
And we hope that you enjoy today. And we hope that you create some space, some time to allow these messages that might be holding you back, self-sabotaging messages of, you know, some of you really put yourselves down. And we hope that you take some time, some space, create some space for you to allow these messages to come through. Nonetheless, we do hope that these messages resonated for you. We ask that you take a moment to please like, subscribe, share this video with friends and family. You never know who you can help, but this also helps to grow our channel as well so that we can continue to put more videos out for you.
And it also infuses your energy into our videos, so that way we know the energies that we're gearing these messages for, so it'll be a little bit more personalized and not so general. So we do appreciate your likes, shares, and subscribes. We appreciate you viewing today as well.
And please do comment below if there's a video that you'd want us to put up for you. If you were curious about any topics, you know, if you wanted to know more about anything at all, just comment below and we'll make sure to take some time to create a video for you. Okay?
We'll catch you on the next one, and
See you
thanks
soon.
again. As always, we love you. Bye.